Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and we're outside a rental property that recently flooded, and we're going to walk through it, talk about it, show you the damage, what it looks like right now, and talk about our plans for it as well. So it's kind of been sitting here for a while, and I don't like to have houses just sitting there, but there's a reason for that, and we'll discuss it. I might grumble about some contractor things a few times as well in this video, and it's Fun Car Friday too. So we've got the Aston Martin out today. If you missed it, we've been doing more shorts, which are the short YouTube videos, and did a real quick video on that Aston Martin last week and talked about some of the cool features on it, like the double gas tank lids and the neat little mirror and some different stuff. So if you missed that, that's kind of a cool little video. And I have lots of videos, a playlist for all my cars too, if you've missed that. So that's always cool to see, at least I think it is. I know a lot of people ask for more car videos, but we are primarily a real estate channel. So here's the house, and of course check out Investor More for much more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, all that great stuff. And we love the likes and comments, so keep those coming and welcome new subscribers. This is a rental property I've owned for 6 or 7 years. I always think to myself after I start doing this video, I should have researched some of my statistics so I get them right, but then I just go for it. I bought it as a foreclosure. I think we paid $115,000 for it. It's probably worth, fixed up, in the $380,000 range right now. Crazy what prices have done in Colorado. And we got a really, really good deal on it when we bought it as well. So we had it rented from, I think, $1,300 to $1,600 or $1,700 that whole time. So it became vacant. It was slightly trashed. We had a tenant who moved out, and he left a lot of junk here. Didn't do a lot of damage, but left a lot of stuff, a lot of trash here all over, and we'll link to that video in the description below as well. And so we were rehabbing it, and I was kind of trying to figure out, should I sell it? Should I keep it? And we decided to sell it, and while we were doing the rehab, we had a dishwasher line break. I think it was the valve that, I don't know where it is, down there somewhere. One of the valves that goes to the dishwasher. The contractors who were working on it had removed the dishwasher, and that valve failed overnight, dumped a ton of water into the house and basement, and caused a whole lot of damage. So we'll link to that video as well, and maybe splice in some footage. So we had water just dripping from the ceiling in the basement, an inch or two of water in the basement, and just lots of damage all over. So we did end up bringing in the insurance company, talking to them, and I think they paid us about $20,000 for the damage, cleanup, and that stuff. So we did get paid out on it, so that's nice. But we're still, not making much progress in this house. So and that's part of this video, part of the reasons why we're doing it, and just to show you what it looks like right now. So one of the sad things about this house is it had hardwood floors throughout all the bedrooms, the living room, and it was pretty decent hardwood, and it was all just warped, and we could not save it. I mean, we might have been able to save it if we could have let it sit here for like a year and dry out, but it was just pretty bad. So we ripped all of it out. So we'll redo that flooring as well. Oh, you can see a tiny bit of it. It's still right there in the closet. That's what it looked like. So that's sad, but there could be worse things that could happen. So we ripped out all the flooring and flood cut most of the walls, but not all of them. So that's something I want to talk about a little bit here, just for people, for future reference if this happens to your property. And as you can see, is painted. The windows were already newer, but we did a little bit of remodel, just a quick refresh on stuff, and then the flood happened. So that's a little frustrating too, having that happen when you're getting ready to sell the property. All right, we're gonna talk about renting it or selling it here in a little bit, but first I want to talk about some of my pet peeves with contractors. And I know some of them watch this too, so they'll hear it, and that's one way of me communicating with them. But there were a couple nails just sticking up like ½ an inch out of the ground, and you can see a little brick I brought in from outside to smash them back down. And I'm not very smart. A lot of times I'll wear flip-flops or just regular shoes to job sites, so if I step on a nail, it's not going to feel very good. So I did step on the nail, didn't like go through my shoe or anything. I stopped before went to my foot. But on a job site, it's just, you never want to leave nails sticking up. You never want to leave dangerous things, even while you're working. So you never know if you get called off. you have to go take care of an emergency, and then you forget about it, and you don't come back, and somebody gets hurt. And the other thing, that board was sitting there with the nail sticking straight up. It might not seem like a big deal until someone steps on it, and then it's a really big deal. They have to get a tetanus shot, and they bleed all over. It's just not much fun. So just taking care of the job site and making sure it's safe at all times is really important. And I've seen that a few times with some of our contractors on other sites too, where boards are sitting up with nails, you know, and it's just not good. I know my contractors watch this and will see this, so yeah, we'll see how that works. And then something interesting too, like this floor is broken. Like, I don't think that was from the flood. I think it just is old or have been damaged at some other point, because there's another spot over here too that has, where was it? Oh, no, oh, right there. I don't know if you can see the give in that floor. So if you have old creaky hardwood floors, maybe it's not the hardwood floors, maybe it's your subfloor about to break. So that was interesting to see as well, how weak this floor is. So something else I slightly want to complain about. We had a pretty good flood, right? One of the main things you want to do is make sure all the moisture is taken care of. Anything that got wet is removed, because you don't want to grow mold. And mold can be dangerous, can spread quickly. Once you get all the moisture out and everything taken care of, you're usually going to be okay. Hopefully the mold doesn't keep growing. But it can be tough to get to that point. So we flood cut a lot of the house, which means you kind of cut up a foot or two off the floor to remove wet or damaged drywall, so you don't get that mold spreading. But you can see right there, that obviously got wet. It doesn't look moldy, but it's discolored. And we really should have flood cut all of this. And that's kind of frustrating, because we go back here too. And I don't smell it anymore. One of the great ways to know if a house has mold is to use your nose, because you can smell it. I don't know how to describe it. Very obviously moldy, musty smell. But if you can smell mold, it's a very good indication there is mold somewhere, and that's usually not a very good thing. And then you can see right here, this is not saw cut either. And you can see there is actual mold on some of that. So this whole bottom section really needs to be cut out. We got paid by the insurance company. There's no reason why it shouldn't be done. I don't think the mold is growing anymore because it's been dried out. We've had fans running for a very long time. But again, you can see right there, that looks like some mold right there growing too. So that all needs to be cut out. And you can see from the back of the wall, usually a lot better than the front, because the front is painted. You know, you can't always see the mold, the back is not. So you can oftentimes see a ridiculous amount of mold on the back of a wall that is hidden on the front side. So kind of like right here, you can kind of tell that's where the heating vent was. You can see there's discoloration, some mold there, but where the paint is, you can't see anything because that mold won't come through. So that's why you have to really, you know, you can hide mold, I'm not saying you should, but mold can be hidden. And if you smell it, it can be tough to figure out where it's at. And that's why we should cut this, make sure, you know, there's nothing behind those walls at all. And that's kind of one reason why I let this house sit for a while too, is because I wanted to make sure, you know, we didn't have mold growth, a bunch of crazy stuff happening before we came back in and redid everything. That's not a good situation if you redo everything and have to redo it again, since we've already had to do that once on this property. Okay, so down here is kind of the same situation, where I think we should have just removed all of this wood paneling, because I think we're going to remove it anyway. We really don't need it here. It's not going to hold moisture or grow mold as much as sheetrock or drywall, so mold likes to grow on fibrous, I don't know if that's the right word, paper, sheetrock, organic stuff. It grows on really well. Hard things like brick, you know, wood, it doesn't grow on as well. It can if you have a lot of mold, but it's not nearly as likely to grow. So we got rid of all the paneling there because water was literally dripping through that ceiling like crazy. Saw cut some of this bottom area, but again, I mean, I think we probably should have done all of it and everything. Although you can see kind of the back side of the wall in here, and it's not moldy there, it's not discolored, which is good, but it's still not a guarantee that it's like that everywhere. And in here, which kind of was frustrating, I missed this before too, you know, we saw cut to there, And you can even see the cut to the end, it just never got finished. It just got stopped midway. And really this whole room should be, or flood cut, I keep saying saw cut. I mean, you cut it with a saw. But that was really soft, I could put my foot through it. I think there might have been, is there a light on here? Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, look, see? Right there, that looks like more mold right there. So really the whole thing should have been cut. And then the ceiling, it's discolored, it's got issues. And so it's got to come, see, all that should probably, that should all come down too and be redone. So, you know, for future reference, if you do have a flood, it's best to get everything out. The organic material, I think that's the word I was looking for, as soon as you can, so you don't have mold growth. Because mold can spread, if you have a big amount of mold growing, it can spread all over very quickly. So again, in here, you can see we cut some of it, but then not all of it. And if we're gonna cut some of it and redo some of it, it's really not that much more difficult to just cut all of it and do the whole thing. So yeah, we do have our work cut out for us in this house. You can see the bathroom was one of the worst spots because that was closest to the dishwasher above us. And then there's this drain in from the toilet where we let all the water go through because we still never did find any kind of drain in this basement. And that was our plumber's brilliant idea, who said, hey, pull the toilet, use that as a drain. And that was very smart. So this is our property, this is our house. Why is it just sitting here? Well, for one thing, we wanted to make sure we weren't growing a bunch of mold. And if we did sell it or rent it, have a dangerous situation, that's not good. And then I can't really decide if I want to sell or rent it. So that's something else I need to think about here too. Oh, I thought about one more thing I want to talk about before we get to that. A lot of people have said, oh, you know, when these contractors, you know, it could have been their fault that the dishwasher flooded. I always like to say have our water off at all times if you're not in the house. You know, it's a good strategy to keep things from this happening. But we don't just go around firing people all the time for everything they do. Otherwise, we would never be able to work with anyone. And it's funny because my son and my daughter, you know, we've had contractors working at our river house, different projects. And sometimes we're like, oh, that contractor messed up this, or he left some trash here. They need to be fired. And I'm like, no, that's not how life works. People make mistakes, things happen. You can't just go around firing everybody if they make a mistake or a little lazy once in a while, because otherwise my kids would have been fired a long time ago. But you can't work with people, tell them what's wrong, what to do different, and usually, you know, people will realize it and hopefully not make the same mistake twice. Now, if contractors are blatantly lying to us or routinely causing major problems because they're taking shortcuts, that's another story. But we're very easy to work with for people who are honest and, you know, really care about things. Now, selling versus renting. I already sold 2 rentals this year. We 1031 exchanged one. We did not 1031 exchange another, so I'll be paying taxes on that. We've had a real good year flipping, so I'll be paying a whole lot of taxes on income. And capital gains change depending on how much money you make. If you make a certain amount of money, you pay 15% long-term capital gains tax rate. And if you don't make so much money, you pay, or if you make more money, you pay 20% capital gains tax rate. So if I do sell more rentals this year, I would most definitely be paying 20% capital gains tax rate on them, which I don't like paying more taxes than I have to. So that's kind of why I have this property and another rental that is kind of sitting here empty, because I think I want to sell them, but I don't really want to sell them this year. I kind of want to wait till next year. So we're almost at the end of the year, which is crazy. I can't believe it's almost 2022. And then next year, we might sell this one and the other rental. Maybe we'll do a 1031 exchange. Maybe we'll just sell them outright and pay the taxes. But I don't have a property in mind to 1031 exchange yet. So that's why I've just kind of been sitting here, not been in a huge rush to remodel this property. And that also plays into some of the other videos we've done, like whether I should finish the basement or not, or, you know, doing other projects above and beyond, because we have all the people who work for us, all our contractors, employees going full bore on projects, right? We can keep everybody busy full time and then some. So if we had someone available to work on this house, you know, we'd have them in here probably right now to fix it. But we don't. They're all busy. So a lot of people ask me, you know, why we don't do more repairs, finish basements. It's because we don't have the people to do it. It's really hard to find people to work on houses who are affordable right now. Really hard to find good contractors in general at any time, let alone during kind of this crazy work employment. Oh, there's another nail. See, I didn't like go through my shoe or anything, but there's another nail sticking up. So I'll smash that in with my brick here after I'm done. So I think I do want to sell this rental, take the money and reinvest it in a bigger and better project or some other real estate. So that's kind of my plan. I don't like selling properties. I really like how they go up in value and provide cash flow, but I have so much equity in these properties. I feel like I can make more money in other projects. So it's not like I'm just selling out and spending the money on cars for the most part. I'm selling and then spending the money on more real estate that probably cash flows better, more expensive real estate that hopefully has more potential to go up in value even more than these properties as well. So that's the property, that's the update. Those are some of my slight grumblings for this property. And then some of the plans of what we're gonna do. So hopefully we'll have an update on this here relatively soon with it all fixed up and ready to go. We had, yeah, like I said, tear out all the flooring. We had new flooring installed in the kitchen. It was pretty much ready to go when that happened. But that's okay, worse things could happen. We're in a position where we can deal with these situations and get through them without much hassle. So we're very lucky in that respect. I feel sorry for brand new landlords or people who own houses who don't have, you know, the resources we have for these issues. All right, thanks for watching. Love your comments, love the likes. Keep those coming. Of course, check out investormore.com. We'll be back with much more coming up here soon.